Right. There's your sign. All right. Hello. Welcome. Hi, Roberta. Hi, Joanne again.
Hi, Madeline. How are you?
Great.
Hi, how are
Hey,
you?
Scott. Hi. Darius, I see you here too. Anil, Naretti. Oh, it's so great to see you.
Hi, how are you? It's so good to see you.
Good. So good. Welcome. I know a few of us couldn't make it yesterday, so it's so good to have all of you here today. I'm really
Same
excited.
here.
So excited. I see Nancy is joining us too. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Naretti.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, everyone. So thank you for all those who attended yesterday. Nicole and Daniela took over my position for me. It was really special and helpful because I was moving to Denver. For all of you, I am now in Denver, Colorado. So it was quite a journey cross country, but we're here now, very excited. So without further ado, I don't want to take any more time away from all of you. Just a couple of reminders we have here. As many of you know, the team has about 10 minutes to present. They have been practicing, so they're all usually very good at being around 10 minutes. And then after that, the judges have Q&A for 15-ish minutes. Usually what happens if a team does prolong a question, we'll try and stop in the middle so another judge can ask a question. We'll try and get as many questions in as possible, but judges, you have this team's information in case you wanted to ask them additional questions. I see some of you have already filled out your rubric from yesterday. Shout out to Darius and Peter. Thank you for doing that. I saw that. Narati, I think you're doing that on the other side, but so if you guys can just email those to me later this afternoon or evening your time, I'll send you an email separately. So without further ado, and then the last piece I'm just going to say is that we are recording this in case any of the judges want to go back and review for the judges who couldn't be here today or for my team members, because we do have a few team members here from GBSN. Shout out to Julie too. Hi, Dr. Bamkley, I can see you now. All right, so without further ado, we have team M.I.A.S.C, which they will tell you what that means. And Luca, I have you ready to share your presentation if you want to get started, and I will hand it over to you.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Madeline. Let me just start the screen sharing. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Luca Massari from University College Dublin in Ireland, and we are team M.I.A.S.C, Made in Africa Specialty Coffee. My teammates are Dennis Asimwe and Lilian Rubega from University Makerere in Uganda, and Udit Varsingh and Mohit Santani as well from University College Dublin. So let's start this presentation. Dennis, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Luca. Africa has a number of issues, and Uganda, as one of the countries in Africa, which is in East Africa, has not been spared. As we speak, looking at the figures from Uganda Bureau of Statistics, 21.4% of the people live below the poverty line. That presents around 10.2 million people. The unemployment rate for the youth stands at 2.94. It has been increasing gradually from 1.92 in 2018 to the current 2.94. If this is not tackled, then we are going to have a bigger figure. A study by UNICEF in 2022 indicates that 75% of the youth lack the necessary skills for employment, and yet agriculture employs about 73% of the labor force. However, Uganda is not a poor country. In 2022, 6.26 million bags of coffee were exported, earning Uganda a whopping $826 million US. However, this could have been more, either tripled or quadrupled, if this coffee was processed and we were not relying on primary and low value exports, which undermines the competition of our coffee on the world market. Our team is coming in to look for a solution that would help in adding value to our coffee to ensure that we have people who are trained. We export coffee where value has been added to earn the farmer a bigger amount of money. We are looking at a process whereby an incubation center, which the investor will have a collecting center for silos. Also, the coffee will be roasted, ground, and packaged, ready for export. We expect to invest about $400,000 US. The 100,000 will go into the structure, equipment $200,000, and the training center, which will act as an area that will train people on the necessary skills to make sure that they have the necessary skills and gain a lot. This will make sure, or will help the investor earn about $416,000 US in a year, looking at production of about 4 days in a week. This means that the payback period will be about 1.04 years. We are looking at a farmer-owned model whereby the amount of money that will be earned from the export will be shared as follows. The farmer would get $3, the cooperative will get $2, the investor $2, the operating costs will take $2. We also have a section of research and development and the training college where people will gain the skills. So with this, we expect to have an incubation center that will solve most of these issues, going to the fact that the farmer will get a bigger share and we shall control what we export. At this moment, I'll call in Udit to show the business potential of our model.
Hello, everyone. So I'll be talking about the business potential. For M.I.A.S.C coffee, our target markets are mainly two. First, the local market that comes from the demand from the tourism sector in Uganda and the growing middle class in the Ugandan Africa, as well as the international market. So looking at the international market, the statistics that we can confirm, all the major continents such as North America and Europe seem to have a really high demand for coffee products. Even in the new major markets such as Asian countries, the growth of demand seems to be higher as well. When we look at sub-market for specialty coffee, it is observed that this market has been growing at a faster rate of about 12.32%, with the global demand for specialty coffee reaching expected to reach about $152 billion from $53.67 billion in 2021. With Asia Pacific region leading the trend, with the specialty coffee market growing at 15.3%, that is expected to sustain itself till 2030. So all in all, the rate of growth of the market, the demand is really good. In North American market, in a 2022 survey, 43% of the respondents reported consuming specialty coffee. Finally, in Europe, the largest market for the specialty coffee with a market share of 46.21% and a market value of $24.8 billion, we can clearly conclude that the marketplace for specialty coffee has the potential to generate huge profits for Africa and uplift poor communities in Africa, as they will be getting a good share of the coffee made in Africa. Can we move to the next slide, Luca? Yeah. So, okay. Now coming, okay, again, I think this is a little bit problem with my computer. Yeah. So, yeah. So coming to the social impact. So we are planning to interact the communities. We are planning to have the communities work with us when it comes to growing such a market. And so our research suggests that development of specialty coffee cooperative can benefit the society in numerous ways. By utilizing specialty coffee farming methods and processes, we can directly involve the local population, promote their economic and social growth, and eliminate intermediaries that reduce profits from small-scale farmers. This initiative will also enable the youth to learn valuable skills and enhance the country's overall human capital. Coffee's production has the potential to create significant employment opportunities in Uganda. According to Ugandan Coffee Development Authority, the coffee industry provides livelihood for over 1.7 million households in the country, including about 1.2 million coffee farming households. Additionally, our business model can contribute towards environmental protection by promoting sustainable farming practices that prevent deforestation. A significant challenge for coffee producers worldwide, including Brazil. This contributes towards the long-term sustenance of a better environment for the people to live and work in. As a result, our concept aligns with critical United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, including no poverty, decent work and economic growth, reduced inequality, and responsible consumption and production. Now I'll be passing on to Lillian, who will be talking about the solutions for rural Ugandan coffee farmers and SDG relevance to our topic.
Yes, thank you, Oditi. Around 80% of Ugandans live in rural areas and rely on agriculture to support their families. Coffee growing is one of the most valued activities, but coffee is sold in its raw form. That means with no value addition, which attracts low profit margin, hence leaving very many Ugandans in circles of poverty. This low value addition problem that has undermined the growth of Uganda, we are looking at solving it by coming up with a coffee processing factory alongside a training center. Value-added coffee will reach greater markets at fair and better prices. That way the farmers' income will increase and their standards of living will also improve. M.I.A.S.C will work with farmers in a way that earn 35% of the profit that will be made on each kilogram of value-added coffee. And that way their incomes will improve, their standards of living will also improve. And M.I.A.S.C is also trying to come up with a training center where youths will be trained to adapt to modern technology in production, post-harvest handling, management of farms, and management of storages. Women in Uganda face a challenge of discrimination because of cultural beliefs. The project is intending to promote gender equality by coming up with female leaders, paying equal salaries to positions for both female and male, so that women or female can also support their families. The project is relevant to the Agenda 2063 because it will help to achieve the goals 1, 5, and 17, and also it will help to achieve SDGs 1, 5, 8, 9, and 10. Allow me to pass on to my colleague Luca to take you through the sustainability of this project.
Thanks, Lillian. So to ensure environmental sustainability, we will implement eco-friendly farming practices, such as the use of organic fertilizers, natural pest control methods, and water conservation techniques. Our focus will also be in avoiding waste in operations, such as by composting coffee grounds and recycling packaging materials. Our farming approach will prioritize keeping the soil alive and in good health through the use of organic fertilizers and other biological materials. Organic farming has proven benefits over conventional agriculture, including decreased soil erosion and nitrate leaching into groundwater and surface water, as well as recycling animal waste back into the farm. While from an economic perspective, we believe that our business is sustainable and scalable for the reasons already mentioned, and by saving a lot of money on transportation costs, we will be able to offer our product, a quality product at a competitive price. And this will ensure us a solid presence in the Ugandan market. Afterwards, focusing on quality, sustainability, and scaling up operations, we will be competitive also in the global market. Now, Mohit will explain you our marketing approach.
Thank you, Luca. Now, to bring M.I.A.S.C into the market, targeting Uganda's rising middle class allows for a decent level of social media penetration, as well as some in-store promotions and sponsorship events. The opportunity for women and the youth to develop vocational skills at the M.I.A.S.C facilities is in itself an excellent marketing strategy, since it benefits all parties involved. The offices of MNCs, other big companies, INGOs, embassies in Uganda can be partnered up with to spread the name of M.I.A.S.C, since the employees will also be able to afford the specialty coffees more regularly. Using the same office approach, M.I.A.S.C can partner up with big multinational companies internationally, like Google or Meta, to brand itself as a coffee company that benefits millions. Now, moving on to the communication plan. The aim here is to raise awareness about M.I.A.S.C, its objectives, and its outputs by engaging with beneficiaries, relevant stakeholders, and the public, which would facilitate the achievement of some SDGs, which are sought by our program. Some of the beneficiaries involved would be the farmers and the youths interested in participating. The program bodies would be the implementing, funding, and the governing teams. The external audience would be the general public, policymakers, influencers, third sector organizations, trade and industry, educational research institutes, and many more. The main tactic here that the project has to practice is the consulting of its stakeholders, wherever relevant, involving them in the decision making and implementation. This approach of fostering a trust relationship with project bodies, regions, and beneficiaries will allow the project to be proactive and efficient. The main communication measures that we identified were to have a visual identity in the form of a program logo, printed and digital publications, online social media platforms, conferences, and seminars. That brings us to the end of our presentation, and we are open to questions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let me remove everyone's spotlight so we can see everybody. And then Luca, if you want to stop sharing your screen. I see, okay, on my screen I think I saw Nancy and then Dan and then Darius. So Nancy, if you want to start us off, then we'll go to Dan.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, first of all, great presentation. It's a really interesting concept. I think you really have thought about it very well from its inception and the value that it will bring. So it's very interesting. I do have just one question because twice you kind of do focus on a lot of kind of addressing the gender inequality, which is part of the SDG, and also the marketing in terms of bringing kind of valuable skills and opportunities to women and youth. And I'm just kind of questioning about how will you be doing that? Will you be, because it is a very male-dominated society, and so I would think that the farmers and all right now are still pretty much men. So will you be setting aside places for women? Will you, kind of in a almost like a quota system, or how will you be attracting and giving that benefit to the women?
Yeah, thank you for the question. One, we intend to put up a training center, and that training center, basically, the major beneficiaries will be the youth and the women, especially to gain the skills and make sure that they attain the skills that are necessary for the coffee production, and other skills work in the coffee factory, which will be regarding the electrical, mechanical, and other issues. Two, we intend to have a kind of incentive scheme whereby we can give out free seedlings to especially women and the youth, to make sure that they're also engaged in those activities. That could be one of the ways in which we can try to bring up the women and youth in the activities that we shall be doing. More, we tend to encourage the youth and women to participate in other activities which could be an addition on what coffee, on coffee, things like beekeeping, because we understand bees help in pollination, and that's helping them to get a better income and also to earn some extra money because of the project. Thank you.
Just to add to Nancy, to your answer, you asked us how we can talk to how we can basically help the females or grow in growth. The thing is that it is a male-dominated society, but when it comes to farming, especially coffee farming, a majority of the labor workforce is women. And that's why our topic, our sector that we have chosen, targets a sector which is majorly, where majorly the laborers are women, and therefore it can help in direct involvement, in direct growth of that demographic that you're talking about.
Thank you, Udi. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Nancy. Diane?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Webale Enyo, Nyabo Isebo. Love Ugandan coffee, love the idea. I've lived there, so I think you guys definitely have a great idea. My question is, which local companies have you spoken to benchmark your ideas, to benchmark your numbers, and also to learn from them what they would do differently if they were starting their company? Because there's a large number of companies, local companies in Uganda that are doing a very similar thing to what you're proposing. So I'd like to know which local companies you've liaised with.
Yeah, so we have referred to the example of Highlands Coffee. It is another coffee company in Uganda which has been following the same method, following the same concept of specialty coffee, how it's grown, how you can involve the farmers, the small farming communities. Our concept just do this one thing differently, where we plan to involve the smaller farmers and bring them together so that we can get benefit of the economies of scale. That is one of our main aims. For the statistics and for the benchmarks, Dennis was able to contact some of the industry experts. I think Dennis can expand more over it.
Thank you very much. I will confess that the model we are talking about, it has already been practiced in Uganda, and it is causing a lot of changes. And we are confident that once it is replicated in other areas, then we shall see a lot of changes in Uganda. We might not need the oil, which is taking more than 20 years to explore. There is a company called Chulad. The executive director is called Apollo Segawa. They are already doing part of this model, and it is doing wonders. We already benchmarking with them, and we expect to replicate some of what they are doing to make sure that we solve some of the issues in Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan, Dennis, and Edith. Darius?
If someone can go.
Sorry, I was muted very quickly. So I had a similar question to Dr. DeVries, but I want to cast it a bit differently. You guys have done a great job describing the impact you want to have in the world, in Uganda, and how your product will support all of those objectives. I think your concept would be stronger if you put the same level of effort in your marketing plan, distribution channels, and channel partners. Because frankly, I still can't figure out who your customers are. Are they coffee shops? Are they people who love expensive, specialty coffee and are willing to pay a premium? Are they people who shop at fancy grocery stores in the US? And this is a concept, I get it, so you don't have to have all the answers, but it would be useful to spend more time on your business model canvas. And then the last comment is, you don't have to do everything in the value chain. So the way you've set this up, you're building factories, you're doing farmer extension, you're kind of doing everything. Whereas I think that's where partners would be really interesting, because you figure out where your niche is in your concept and then where else people can support you. Thank you.
Thank you, Darius. And feedback, of course, like Darius just provided, is also super, super welcome. Thank you. All right, Peter, I saw you next, and Nereti, then Julia.
Yeah. Okay, just a very quick one. As I listened to your wonderful presentation from an investor's perspective, I would say this is a great opportunity. But then, how come nobody has ever thought of this in Uganda? I'm going to be getting, like, in 1 year, I'm recovering. What am I missing here? Or what is the sweet spot that everybody else is not seeing except you? Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. I have already mentioned that there is a company called Churad. It's already having the similar model, whereby they have an incubation facility where people bring in their already harvested coffee for processing and for final export. It is something that is being done. Though lack of resources, lack of interest from the government can hinder something like this. So we are looking at someone coming in, getting interested, replicating what is being done, and making it better so that we can have better results.
Thank you, Dennis. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to it. Again, one more thing is that The coffee farming right now, what we have, based on our research, what we have heard is the youth of the country, they are not interested in farming. They are aiming for more service level jobs, but those are not available in the country. And therefore, there is a lack of interest from the youth side when it comes to farming. But that is what our project is about. Our project is about training these youths, about helping these youths learn those important skills that are going to help them get the next big job. So I think as of now, there was a lack of interest in the farming sector, and it was generally considered to be not a very respectful or not a very high earning job. But by promoting this kind of process, by promoting this kind of business, we will be able to bring the youth of the country to work for these work in these places, and at the same time, as Dennis mentioned, have the vocational skills learned which will help them get the next better job and help their overall economic development.
Thank you, Udit. Nareti.
Thank you. Lovely presentation. You've shown in-depth knowledge of the coffee market. I just have one comment and question. How are you guiding against your risk in terms of insurance? I didn't hear that in your presentation, because there's going to be a lot of risks that you may, you may have to face regarding either in terms of currency, in terms of markets, and all your other risks. How do you hope to guide against that? I didn't hear that in your presentation. Well done, guys.
So that is definitely a place where we can develop our presentation much more in. Looking at, I think I definitely agree with you when it comes to agriculture, or when it comes to farming. Definitely weather plays a very important role, and it is definitely important to ensure that you have a proper insurance for crops and everything. When it comes to exports and when it comes to transportation and reaching out to the foreign markets, we feel that right now USA, they have the AGOA, the United States of America, the AGOA treaty that's between Africa and USA. We plan to utilize that because it is giving African nations the most preferred nation treatment. So in terms of exports, in terms of getting the best price, that is there. But definitely, I agree with you, Nareti. When it comes to insurance, we need to look into that, so that we can ensure that farmers are safe. I think a part of it, which I can say, is the sustainable farming, how we're promoting that. And through the methods of sustainable farming, we will be able to promote organic farming. And I feel like in organic farming, like in general, organic farming is supposed to be much more resilient. But at the same time, weather is something which we should definitely need to account for.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Joanne and Neil. So Joanne?
Thank you very much. First of all, congratulations. I come from right next door to you, from Uganda. I'm from Kenya. So I completely understand the background that you're relating to. Now, two main issues. Number one, I see that your runway is very long. You're talking about 2 to 4 years to get into the market in Uganda. And then after that, 5 to 6 years to get into the international market. In defining your target audience, I actually think for this specific product, the majority of your buyers will be international customers rather than the domestic customers. We've experienced the same in Kenya. And so I would urge you to please look at your targeting and also the length of stay before you get into the market. The second thing is in terms of listening to you, I feel that you're taking on a lot, because from production to processing to selling, it's a really long value chain. So I would suggest that where you can have partners, for example, buy from existing smallholder farmers and then start processing. Then after you're in the market, you can then look at whether you can go backwards in the integration or whether that actually works, because the impact will still be felt. It's the young people, it's the women who are doing this. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe I would want to state that our biggest niche and what we are looking at, and as the key point, is value addition. And value addition, we are looking at the production process. People bring already harvested coffee, ready to have it processed, and that into a final product and ready for export. That's our biggest niche. And that's where, as you can see, even in our investment proposal, we are looking at the structure, we are looking at the equipment, we are looking at the training center. We are looking at that incubation center where people will bring already harvested coffee, ready to be produced into a final product. Our niche is value addition.
Thank you, Dennis. Anil, I'm giving the last question or comment to you.
Yeah, hello. Just a quick comment. I'm really aligned with the last comment and what Dario said. I think that you may focus a little bit your presentation on where you can create a differentiation in the value chain. And I think that I really like, in fact, the farming school in order to scale, in fact, the number of farmers in the country, but this has a short complexity around how do you create this network effect with all those new farmers. Do you think a little bit about that? What are your thoughts?
So Anil, I think that's a very nice point that you raised. And I think we also agree to the point that it is going to be a complex task, bringing all these farmers from all over Uganda together and trying to create a cooperative out of them. That's what I think we are aiming for. I think for that, we will prefer to look to Amul, which is an Indian cooperative, a very successful Indian dairy cooperative, how they have reached internationally and they have developed a dominance over the market in dairy products in India. So looking at their business model would be something. I think having small clusters all over Uganda, fortunately because of Uganda's small size, regional disparity and regional problems will not be that much. I think it can be cultural one, but I think in that sense, we'll be looking to Amul, which is another successful cooperative, and how they have managed over the years to develop such a dominant position in the dairy market.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your patience with me and team M.I.A.S.C. I wanted to give them a huge shout out. They're our first collaboration team from 2 different schools, one African school and one from Ireland. So it's been very interesting seeing that collaboration, very exciting. And I want to say thank you to David, their mentor. So now all of our judges, I have on my list, Julian, Ishan, and Roberta asking the next questions to the next team first. I'm just going to put the next team's link, Zoom link in the chat here for everybody's quick access. Thank you, team M.I.A.S.C. Hope to see you tomorrow at the, well, actually, one of you should at least be there tomorrow for the award ceremony. But thank you, everybody. And I will see all of our judges in the next call. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye. Great job.